Welcome to the On the Ears podcast, a podcast about all things Disney.
What is up, everyone? So we are coming to you from the last couple hours of 2022. You're probably listening to this in the new year, which we're both excited about. I feel like 2022 is kind of a crap year for us. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
It had its ebbs and flows for sure. But the end of the year has definitely sucked.
Yeah, it's been rough, but we're really looking forward to 2023. Like I always take the new year as like a fresh start. And 23 is my favorite number, has been forever. And so I'm really hoping that this next year is going to be the best one yet.
Totally.
Yeah.
So, funny thing about 23, when Ashley and I first started dating, like Miley Cyrus's 23 song was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And like she was just obsessed with the number 23. Like we started talking on October 23rd of 2013. It's like the first time I ever messaged her. And yeah, so 23 is like cemented in our relationship.
Yeah. So should be a good year.
And it seems like odd number years for us have been shit.
Odd number years or even number years?
Or yeah, I mean even number years.
That's pretty true.
2018 ass.
Yeah.
The end of it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
2020 definitely ass.
Man. So we're set up to have a good year.
2022 started out strong but went downhill very fast, like towards the latter end of the year.
Crash and burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyond, other than Christmas was awesome.
Yeah. For you, for the home life, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I have about had enough of my job. But this is getting really dark. We want to talk about all of the good things that happened in 2022, Disney, Marvel, the most notable things that we were excited about in 2022. And then also just to kind of set goals and resolutions for 2023. I always set New Year's resolutions. I don't think it's cliche. I think everyone should do it. And I've been thinking about this, especially all day today, about things that are realistic that I can actually achieve that I think would help make me better. So let's go ahead and get started about some things that we loved about 2022 Disney, Marvel. Star Wars, I guess. Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, all of the above.
I feel like Disney had a lot of home runs and a lot of swings and misses this year, for sure. I feel like they had a little bit more swing and miss as a company than they would normally have. One, because of the whole Bob Iger situation at the tail end of the year, and just him being in the chair, and then just some of the.
Are you talking about Chapek or Iger?
Chapek. Did I say Iger?
You said Iger.
Oh.
And it sounded like more of a negative tone. I was like, what are you talking about?
No. I mean, Chapek isn't bad.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of like good hits as well.
Okay.
I don't know how to.
So what were some good hits for you?
I mean, and me personally, obviously the Marvel movies were pretty amazing this year. So we had Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, and then Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And then we also had a ton of TV shows as well, which at so many TV shows, I can't even go back to think of all the TV shows.
I just want to talk about the ones that we cared about the most.
No, I know.
So for me, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was amazing. It's so divisive, and it's crazy to me to talk to somebody who doesn't like it.
No,
I still cannot wrap my head around it. Like, I've talked to several people who just don't like it. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'm sorry. Like, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I'm like, that is an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
An amazing movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I loved it. And I mean, perfect casting for Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Love him. He's amazing. Christine. And how exciting was it that we got a fan cast of John Krasinski for
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah.
I mean, such a good moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the hype surrounding the movie, even like before it came out, was crazy.
Oh yeah, the rumorville was just filled, and it was like, what's gonna happen in this movie? Like everyone thought, like, oh, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine's gonna show up, and like, I think we'd even talked about that previously, like before we started the podcast. We're like, do you think he'll show up? Like that'd be really cool, but at the same time, I don't know if it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
With Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're getting him in Deadpool 3, which is awesome, but it was just, there were so many rumors surrounding that movie.
Mm-hmm. And then Thor: Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that's been very divisive. This whole year has been very divisive.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on the person with the whole swing and miss kind of thing.
Yeah. I've pretty much liked everything, but I did love Thor: Love and Thunder. I think it's just fun.
Yeah. Sitting quick, like, not to get into the movie, but like sitting out of the movie now for like it's been like 6 months now since it's come out. What are your thoughts on it? Like, just quick thoughts. Or like, how do you feel about it? Because I don't feel as strongly as I did about it.
Same. I think that's just the nature of like time. Things kind of fade away. And then as time passes, you kind of really see like how you truly feel about things. I still really love the movie, but Jane dies at the end of the movie, which is sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I still like it. I still think it would be in my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like high up there.
Okay.
But it's definitely not like my favorite. I don't know. I do kind of wish that they had done some different things with it, but I still like it.
Yeah.
I mean, without getting into too much detail, I still really like the movie.
Okay. See, that's where I'm kind of at this point. I don't know what happened to Taika, or if it's Marvel just let him loose on like his own, like, hey, do whatever you want, kind of thing. Where Ragnarok, I still think is a superior movie to Love and Thunder, just from a whole, like, it's funny when it needs to be funny, but it's serious, and like when it needs to be serious, and it doesn't take you out of like serious moments as quick as Love and Thunder does. I mean, Love and Thunder, there are a lot of really good, like, oh, that's a good moment, and it's ruined by like comic relief, like too fast.
Yeah, there's a too much humor in it. I mean, I think there's always a good balance to be had, and most of the time Marvel has done a good job at holding that balance, but I think it tipped a little bit too far in this one.
Yeah, sometimes it was just like, God, why did that need to be funny?
Mm-hmm.
And like, why did just some of the direction? It was just like, why would you do that? Like, I would have loved to see like more gore, like Gore the God Butcher, not gore as in like blood and guts.
No,
but,
I gotcha.
But more gore,
like
kind of more blood and guts, like actually killing gods. Like if we had like a whole segment, because the movie was pretty short. I think it was one of the shorter Marvel movies we've had in a long time. But, you know, it's like he got those powers, and it was like, oh, he's killing gods, and no one knows about it other than Thor. And it's like, are we not going to see him kill some gods?
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, we had Christian Bale, who was an amazing actor, and he did such a great job in that role. Kind of like wasted a bit
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, he just had like some funny moments, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But Thor: Love and Thunder, I still love the movie, but at the same time, I'm kind of just like, man, it definitely does not rank as high as I was like, oh, that's got to be like my top 5. I'm thinking now it's maybe top 10, top 15. There's just a lot of really good Marvel movies that I like a lot better.
Mm.
Not to say that I don't love Thor, because Ragnarok is still probably like my number 3 or in my top 5. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
We also had like Wakanda Forever,
Yeah.
which I absolutely love that movie.
Now that it's been a little like a month and a half
Yeah.
ish since we've seen it. I mean, it's just I liked it when we first saw it, and I still like it, but it didn't even necessarily like wow me in theaters,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird because I'm like really easily amused. It's just kind of like a blah to me. You know, I think they did a great job paying homage to Chadwick Boseman. They did some really great things in there to pay their respects to his memory and all of those things, which I thought were great. But I still just think Shuri's not like a strong enough Black Panther to like carry it on.
I gotcha.
So that's pretty much all I have to say.
I'm kind of with you on the whole, like, how do I feel about the movie a month and a half out of the movie. I really love the movie, but at the same time, kind of like Thor: Love and Thunder, there's some things I was like, man, they should have capitalized on this instead of this. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Hopefully we get to see more of Namor and the whole world building there, because I think that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that first scene where you get to see those people and you don't know who they are. It was like scary and powerful because you're like, oh my God, these are new creatures. We don't know anything about them at this point in time. And it's just like, they just like wiped everyone out.
Mm-hmm.
Just easy. And it was crazy.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, what is going on? So I think it'd be really cool to explore that further.
Yeah, I agree.
Some shows. We love Disney Plus in our house.
Yeah.
Like, I think, we have a 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally on every single day. He loves Spidey and His Amazing Friends right now.
Mm-hmm.
Obsessed with it. And then you and I have watched quite a few TV shows.
Yeah.
One of the big ones this year, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
God, I feel like that didn't even come out this year because it was so long ago.
I know. It was this year though, right?
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, it's hard to
That's why I was like, man, I need to look up and make sure I'm thinking of the right thing. Cause
we're probably going to miss several things that were like January, February, March because it feels so long ago.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, that's like with me. I'm like, did Moon Knight come out this year or was that last year?
I think it was this year.
I know, but it feels like it was last year because it came out so long ago.
It's
We've
been
had so much other content.
Long year. Holy cow.
Because we had Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and something else. I can't even remember. And then obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, which we still haven't even watched yet.
Mm-hmm. National
Treasure, which I've heard mixed reviews. Willow, like we haven't even watched.
Santa Clauses.
We watched.
Yeah. So let's quickly just hit the high points. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, it was great.
I especially loved like the back half.
Yeah, the last like 3 episodes.
Oh,
2
so
or 3
cool.
episodes, yeah.
So cool. I'm excited to see Hayden Christensen continue to play Vader.
Yeah, me too.
Super cool.
It's fun that he's like aged up more into the role.
Mm-hmm.
But James,
it makes me feel so freaking old because I remember waiting for Revenge of the Sith to come out. I think it was in 2005 when it came out.
mm-hmm.
And we had
You were
watched
like
the Clone Wars.
second or third grader.
I don't know. Well, I would have been going into 5th grade when it came out, I think.
Oh.
Anyway, but I remember having to wait like a year
Mm-hmm.
for it to come out because I was obsessed with the Clone Wars. and now it's like been almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? I'm so old now. It's crazy how that happens. But yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi was great. I feel like it was a good, because there's such a huge gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
So between number 3 and number 4, which the
Yeah.
whole Star Wars universe is kind of a jumbled mess because it wasn't initially going to be like this huge saga.
Yeah.
It was going to be a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're like putting together all these pieces of the puzzle and no one actually knows where to start and where to end. But I feel like the Obi-Wan show was a good like connecting piece to that.
Yeah, similar to Andor and like Rogue One.
Yeah, and again, like we still have to rewatch all the Star Wars movies. We watched the prequels, the 3, 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't seen the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
For some reason I can never remember the name. I think that's the name of the newest one.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got some catching up to do in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, for sure.
Andor, I'm excited about Andor.
Yeah, I am too. It's just like we have to find time to actually sit down for segmented amounts of time to watch this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which is very like it comes and goes very fast. Like we could be sitting down for an hour and be sat down for an hour for the night, or it's like, oh, I got other crap I gotta do, or like instead of watching a TV show, like I'd rather play a game with Sam. That's her brother.
Yeah, or one of
just-
us falls asleep on the couch
Yeah.
5 minutes into the show.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
Or I just decide to go to bed.
Yeah, or you're like obsessed with another show that you're watching like on your phone.
Yeah. I've been watching Bones a lot. It's
Yeah.
a show that I watched way back in the day and then I kind of lost interest. And so I had restarted it like the end of season 5 and now I'm like on season 9, but it's a show where I'm like I really am enjoying watching it, but I'm not like so obsessed that it's like taken over my whole life. Like I can start and stop it if I need to, and it doesn't like affect me in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Where sometimes I get so invested in something, I'm like, oh my God, no one bother me.
Like
Because
Legend of the Seeker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
because-
is so weird because I'm like, God, that show is like B if
What?
not
Don't
C.
even. Oh my
It's
God.
so weird.
Okay. Have you sat down and watched the whole show?
I watched it with you, yes, and I'm like, I don't
You
understand.
watched the whole show, both seasons?
No, but
No, you haven't.
I've watched plenty of episodes.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, God, how does she
Don't
get obsessed
even.
with this show?
It is so good. Oh my, I wish it would come back.
No.
Love it. So good. I watch it every few years. So good. Anyway, we're off track now. Anything about Star Wars you want to say before we move on?
I don't even know what's coming out next year, but I can't even think right now because I'm more obsessed with like Marvel
Okay.
at the moment.
So talk to me about Marvel. She-Hulk, Miss Marvel.
Man, a highlight for me was Moon Knight because I love the character of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Werewolf by Night was really great.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
And the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Which all these things kind of go in their own category of like the specials and the TV shows. But I mean, I think Moon Knight was great, Miss Marvel was great, and She-Hulk was great. But looking back at these shows, I'm like, like She-Hulk was good, but it's not as good as I thought. Minus the Daredevil episode, which I thought was amazing.
Of course.
Uh,
It was.
yeah.
He like elevated the show to another level while he was on.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
just wish that they would take more time. Like this year they really pumped a lot of shows out.
Yeah, see, that's been a lot of the complaint, is the quantity over quality complaint, which I'm like, guys, we had like a lot of these shows were being filmed during like COVID or post COVID, where there's still like regulations and like, you know, COVID's still like was a huge deal when like most of these shows were filming. And now it's, I mean, sometimes I'm like, does COVID even exist anymore? Or people just talk about it just to talk about it kind of thing. So it's, I think next year everything is going to be more like, CG is going to be a little bit better. I think they're just going to like tighten ship.
Yeah.
Especially with Iger back at the helm.
That's another big Disney moment that kind of took us all by surprise because Bob Chapek had just signed on another extension of his contract.
Yeah.
And then and just kind of out of nowhere, Bob Iger like took back over for 2 years.
Save the day. So I don't know if he's going to be back, and I think he'll go through 2025.
Okay.
Correct?
I just know it's 2 years.
So I'm assuming, since it was so close to the end of a year, he would go at least see, you know, through 2025, which makes sense because that's seeing through Marvel's Avengers, Secret Wars, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing there.
Very interesting.
Because the I feel like Marvel had kind of went down with Chapek at the helm a little bit. It wasn't like at the end game, you know, the 2018 era of movies.
Yeah.
Now with Iger back, I'm like, oh, okay. Things could be looking up.
Yeah. What else so you've been watching Limitless, right? On Disney Plus?
I started it
a little bit.
I think I started the first 2 episodes, and then I fell asleep during the third because it was like late at night. But so far I really enjoyed that. Obviously I love Chris Hemsworth, so.
Yeah, really interesting. I haven't got to watch that, but I think like him and his whole family are really interesting. Like him and his wife are both obviously really into fitness and health and just like elevating yourself, which I think is very inspirational. So hopefully I'll be able to watch that show.
Yeah, it'd be a good show too. That and the Netflix show with Zac Efron, I feel like are 2 good shows to like for the new year to watch and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna reinvigorate like my life.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
More recent, the Santa Clauses.
Mm-hmm.
We did a podcast on that. I think that was the last podcast we did.
I believe so.
I really enjoyed that show. Super fun, pretty light. Again, mixed reviews, but everything's going to have mixed reviews.
I feel like, especially with the more nostalgia-y version of like us, you know what I mean? Because we're going to be a little bit more critiquey because like we grew up watching the Santa Claus 2, and the Santa Claus 3. So I feel like our generation of people are going to be a little bit more like, I don't know how I feel about this show now because it's changed so much that I'm like not a fan of. You know what I mean?
Okay. National Treasure, I'm really excited about. Haven't watched it though. I actually started it one day. I think I was I think I was working on something else and I wasn't going to be able to give it like my full attention. So I started it and then turned it off like 5 minutes later. So I have like basically no context to talk about, but it is a show that I'm excited about. Probably will start watching it in the next couple of weeks. I think it's going to finish up season 1 sometime like mid to end January. So I might just kind of binge it when it like fully airs.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Another huge moment, Avatar, The Way of Water.
Yep.
We have not got to go see it yet, mainly because it's really long. It's like 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah. And the time of the year when no one has any money.
Yeah.
Because we're still recovering from like Christmas and everything else that's happening. I'm like, God dang. You know, to go to the movie, it cost, $20 for tickets or like $18 for tickets, whatever. And then, I'm not going to go to the movies and not get popcorn and a drink.
Mm-hmm.
And so you add, another $20. And it's like $40. But it's kind of like, shit, that's $40 I didn't have. Plus it's 3.5 hours of my life where I'm like at the movie theater, which I'm excited about the movie. But at the same time, I'm like, how excited am I about this movie? Other than it just being like, oh, wow, it's been so many years since the first one, which is kind of another thing that Disney has done this year is let's make a sequel 13 years after we've had the original. Or I don't know when Enchanted came out, and then now it's Disenchanted.
Yeah.
So, like with that movie, the Santa Clauses, the last Santa Claus movie was in like 2008.
Santa Claus 3.
Yeah.
I think it was way before that. 2006, maybe?
Something like that. So it's been, so many years.
Yeah.
It's like, did we really need a Disney Plus show? Or was it just like, yeah, the Disney Plus show was fun, but did we need it?
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I feel about, I don't know how Disenchanted was because I've never watched Enchanted, but I feel like it's a lot of the same. Like, it's been 13 years or it's been 10 years or it's been like 6 years since the last movie. Like, kind of what's the point of making a sequel now?
Yeah. I am a huge fan of Enchanted. I love the movie. It was a great standalone movie, but I was very excited about the notion of a sequel. I was a little disappointed. The back half of the movie was pretty good, but it took like a weird path to get there, and it didn't really give me what I wanted to see, which would have been them like kind of just living their life. I would have liked to have seen more of the build up that gets Giselle to the point of like needing a break. We didn't get a huge build up. We just kind of saw where their life was now. She's really frustrated. She's exhausted with a baby. And then her stepdaughter says something that upsets her. And then she wishes that she had a fairy tale life. And that gives us this whole movie. But I feel like the buildup wasn't really there. And then it just, I don't know. The transition was kind of weird. The end kind of tied it together, pulled it together, and it kind of tied in with the first movie a little bit better. But I don't know. Like, I'll probably watch it again, but if I'm going to choose one of them, it's obviously going to be the first one. I don't know. It was a little bit of a letdown. I still like it, but it's certainly not like on the same level as the first movie. Anyway.
Interesting.
Off my soapbox.
But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like the whole, like, do we really need a sequel? Marvel movies, it's one thing because it's a universe that's like continuously growing and like moving forward. So we had a Doctor Strange movie in 2016. We just got a sequel to that movie. but we've seen him in like
Mm-hmm.
5 other movies
Yeah.
coming up to that. So it makes sense. It's not such like a, oh my gosh, this is out of left field. Doctor Strange has finally got a sequel kind of thing. It makes sense like, oh, okay, Doctor Strange was in, Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, Thor Ragnarok. I mean, which was before. No, I guess that was after his movie. So it's like we've seen him make multiple appearances
Mm-hmm.
since then.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the MCU is completely different from just like a normal saga or series or just standalone movie.
Yeah.
Avatar, it's disappointing that it took so long to come out, but I'm still excited about it. I know that I will still love this movie. I've heard pretty good things. I mean, I think it's going to be kind of shocking to have to sit through an over 3-hour movie. I don't know, like, if I'll be able to rewatch that. Very often, that's a huge time commitment.
Mm-hmm. How long was Endgame? That was like 3 hours, wasn't it?
2.5-ish. I don't know.
It was pretty long. So I would as of now, I think I'd rather watch Endgame. I think there's just more investment in Endgame. So the movie goes fast.
Yeah, but I'm a huge Avatar fan. Like, I love the first movie. It's so good. And despite what other people say, like, I think it's held up really well. I'm not like a critic of like the CGI and all of that kind of stuff, but I think it's beautiful still. And I think they did a great job with it. And to me, and I'm not going to notice huge differences between something in that versus like today's CGI.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think a lot of it does hold up pretty well. Some of it I've, was like, oh, wow, that would look totally different now.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it being like 15 years ago at this point almost.
Mm-hmm.
Or
2009.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost 14 years now
14
since we're
years.
going into 2023.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. But I mean, it's still a really good movie. And like you said, like, I think we're both still very excited to see it. It's just that the time commitment, and we have so much other stuff going on right now. It's just like, man, I guess we'll just kind of wait a little bit longer to see it.
Yeah, I mean, because the time that you and I have together without Grayson is like we're doing a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's what it's going to be this next year.
Yeah.
So we'll have to really plan like date nights and just utilize our time better.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, kind of like wrapping this up as like this topic of discussion.
Yeah.
There were a lot of hits and a lot of misses for Marvel this year on, the movies and the TV show fronts. But for the most part, I feel like this year was like a pretty good year for entertainment.
Oh yeah. They definitely kept us busy.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
The funny thing is, I would say my favorite movie of the year would probably be Doctor Strange or The Batman.
Doctor Strange was really good.
I think it would be going back and forth between The Batman and Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange like blew my mind.
Yeah.
When we first saw it, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What is happening?
I was so ready to go back and see that movie.
Yeah.
But The Batman, I mean, this is like obviously not a Disney thing, but The Batman was an awesome movie.
Can we just say one thing real quick?
Uh-huh.
That DC, like, I'm excited to see what happens with DC. Like, this is going to be very quick, but obviously,
I mean, it kind of wraps together with James Gunn, since James Gunn has been a huge part of the Marvel movies.
So he's the chief creative officer.
Yeah, he's a co-CEO with Peter Safran.
And they're like literally recasting everybody. Henry Cavill is no longer going to be Superman. The Rock is no longer going to be Black Adam. Shazam?
Zachary Levi
is no longer going to be Zachary Levi.
Is that a for sure thing, or
you were the one who told me that? I thought they're like recasting everyone. Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's a complete like reshuffle.
Which I respect. Like, because
Yeah.
we're starting over, you need to actually start over.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a clean slate. You can't like just pick and choose some things that you want to keep, because I think that confuses people
Mm-hmm.
who aren't like
Plugged in.
Yeah. And they're like, where are we at? Because
Last time I saw the Batman, it was Ben Affleck or that vampire guy.
mm-hmm. Anyway, I just had to put that little plug in there. So
Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with them in the next like year and a half.
yeah, for sure. Okay. So looking forward to 2023,
Big news.
what are some of your goals?
A podcast a day for 365 days of the year.
The way Josh is looking at me right now, because he knows I think it's absolute insanity, because it totally is. I don't know how in the world we could possibly do that with two people who have full-time jobs. We don't have the same schedule. I work almost every weekend. I work at least one night a week. But somehow we're going to be able to do a podcast every single day. I think we should meet in the middle. I think we should do 3 podcasts a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, but 365 days sounds more appealing
To who?
to the audience that are going to be like, I mean, what's it? Hi guys, we're going to do 3 podcasts a day, or like, guys, we're going to do a podcast a day every day for 365 days.
It's nuts. So we're going to get up at 3 a.m. every day, go to bed at midnight. Cool. I don't know. I'm not committing to that, even though today, I mean, for the listeners, it's going to be today is the new year.
It's day 1.
So I guess we're going to have a discussion in the morning on whether or what we're doing. But a big goal for both of us is to really focus on the podcast. This has been...
I think the goal is to get Ashley out of her job.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I texted you, and then I think you called me. And I was like...
Yeah,
Dude,
I'm so done with today.
I was like, I'm done with this job. Like, I don't know how much longer I can work here. Because it's been like almost 9 years. And it was a bad Christmas. Anyway, so to keep it more positive, we're both really excited about the podcast. We have a whole list of ideas.
Yeah.
And if we have as much content as we did this past year with Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, they will keep us busy with topics.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So definitely looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
What other goals do you have?
Along with the podcast, talk a little bit more about like, because we talk very heavily about like Disney proper, Marvel, Star Wars. I would really like to like talk about like other shows like on National Geographic and stuff like that.
Okay.
Not like go into depth about them, but like at least acknowledge the existence of like, oh hey, like this came out. And also kind of since like Disney owns Fox still produces movies, but it's under the Disney umbrella. So it's like, oh yeah, this movie came out and it was like pretty good kind of thing. Just keep it a little bit more open book, since like we're a podcast about all things Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Just on the Disney Plus front of that, be a little bit more like, oh yeah, this show came out on National Geographic, because I started watching, I think it's called Uncharted, with
Tom Holland.
no, that's a Sony movie.
That confused me when you said Uncharted, because I was like, isn't that the name of the movie that we started yesterday or the day before?
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't think it was Disney.
No, it's not. It's so far it's good. Uncharted with oh my gosh, he's my favorite chef, but I'm totally blanking on his name. Anyway,
chef.
yeah.
It's not Steven Ranella, is it?
No, but I love Steven Ranella. Oh my gosh. Gordon Ramsay.
Oh.
Uncharted with Gordon Ramsay.
Way off.
It's super interesting. But it's on National Geographic. And there's a lot of other good things on National Geographic. But anyway, I digress.
Okay.
I just want to talk more about that kind of stuff. Or like stuff that's like, hey, this came out on Disney Plus this week. It's some little random kids show. So blah, 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 blah. We've done that a couple times, but like I would like to be a little bit more like on point with that.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any more like personal goals that are outside the podcast? Because I think for me, I've noticed that like we really stay on topic, or we try to really stay on topic. And I think like as someone who listens to other podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy when they kind of go off on a tangent, or like they talk more about like their personal experiences a little bit. So I would like to just kind of open up a little bit more on the podcast, instead of it just being like very strict to the program or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
to be a little bit more kind of chatty about it. So
I agree.
But anyway, do you have any goals for you?
Lose some weight.
Yeah. I
Not lose weight. It's not like I am morbidly obese or anything,
yeah.
but it's one of those things where I'm like, man, I've really fallen off the wagon of like not working out as much as I used to.
Same.
Because it used to be, 6 days a week, an hour and a half a day, or more.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the Grayson, and it was like not bad for a while, and then it slowly turned to shit. And I'm like, all right, if I can hit 3 workouts a week, I'll be good. I'm like, all right, if I can hit 1 workout a week, and then I think I've just let my body not just like go to crap, but I don't think I've touched a weight since I think the beginning of November.
Yeah.
So I've gone like a whole 2 months without working out.
I'm very similar. I've done a workout here and there in November and December, but they've been pretty few and far between.
Yeah.
I think I've noticed a lot of like muscle atrophy. Definitely more lethargy, lack of energy, lack of focus, lack of motivation, amongst other things. I mean, it's dark. You have seasonal depression. I work in retail, so we're all in hell every day. So it's kind of been a dark time, but I agree with you. For me, not necessarily like losing weight, but I really think that I need to wake up early and do it in the morning before.
For you, yes. It's just the fact of getting up early for you is it's a death march.
So when I was in high school, so school started at 7:20, 7:30?
7:30
is when school started, and the bus driver would pick me up at like 7. So I would wake up at like 5 or 5:30 every day and do 20 to 30 minutes of yoga in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that like my entire senior year.
Yeah.
And then of course I like had a PE class, and then I worked out after school. So I was like in really good shape. But I think doing something similar where I wake up every day at 5, like even if I have to work at 7, that still gives me 20 to 30 minutes of like set time in the morning. It doesn't have to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of need to reevaluate like what my goals are going to be this year, as far as like I typically kind of relate my goals to a specific body shape that I want to achieve. And so just kind of figure out what my goals are, and then figure out a workout routine that kind of would give me that.
My shape that I strive for this year was milk dud.
Milk dud. Yeah, mine was a. I don't know. I just kind of melt a little bit, just like very. I don't know. It's fine. I'm like totally fine with myself right now.
No, I'm the same. I'm like, I haven't lost. I get on the scale every once in a while. I'm like, I haven't lost weight and I haven't gained weight. So I'm just maintaining crap at the moment. Like, I'm just in a flux where like I have a manual labor job. So I'm not like losing massive amounts of muscle. If I was like you, where like you, well, I guess I shouldn't say that because you got to.
I'm very active at work.
I know. I'm just saying, like, 90% of the people that. No, I'm not gonna say 90% of people. A good chunk of people, probably like, if they're listening to this, they're like, "Oh, I'm listening to this at work while I'm working at my desk."
Yeah.
Very sedentary.
Yeah. Both of us have active jobs. Like, we're both on our feet all day.
Yeah, there's not a day that doesn't go by where I don't get 10,000 plus steps by lunch or like before.
I don't track my steps, but I do like actively think about like how much I'm walking and like how much I'm lifting stuff and bending over and moving and like lifting things up. So anyway, that was a very long-winded. We both want to get a little bit more structured and regimented with our health, which I think is a fantastic goal. And I hate when people like put other people down that are wanting to be better, because the new year is a fresh start for a lot of people. And if you waited till the new year to get healthy, that's okay. Like, it's supposed to be like this monumental change, or it's a good motivator.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's good.
No, I agree.
So one thing that I really am like super duper excited about is Comic Corp Creations, our small business that we have. My goal is to get us a website in January, or at least we're kind of looking at different options for platforms instead of having to build our own website, because I tried that. There's a lot of working pieces and I don't have the time or the brain power right now to invest in like building my own website. But there's other platforms that exist that would be a really good starting point just to get online.
Yeah, I agree.
So want to do that.
So, same with the LLC.
Oh,
like we really jumped into an LLC and I'm like, boy, maybe we should have just got a business license instead of an LLC. Shit.
Well, I mean,
that's been a little.
It's a learning curve.
Well, yeah, and a little chaotic because you're like, oh yeah, you're on there and I'm on there, and we gotta do tax forms every 3 months. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You can do that.
Yeah, you dump everything onto me. Literally. It's a learning curve. And the tax forms quarterly are not, I mean, we still need to do it for this quarter, but you just print it off, fill it out, send it in. That's it. And then year-end taxes, once we get that going, we'll just see how it goes. But long story short, really excited about the coasters. I finally feel like we have like perfected the art of making the coasters with our switch to epoxy instead of polyurethane as a like way to waterproof them. We've also expanded, not just doing coasters and magnets. We're also doing ornaments now. Just finished our first batch of ornaments. And then we're also doing custom, where we could put like people's pictures on the coasters or the ornaments, and I just have to cut them out, and they're turning out really cool.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm also going to start like hand making the glass or like the bead part for the magnets, pouring that with epoxy. And that is exciting to me because I am just really, I love being creative. It's a big stress reliever to me. And I've just really enjoyed the whole process of making them. So.
No, so I've been off all this past week because our plant is shut down. So like everyone's like, all right, we'll see you next year kind of thing. Have a good week off, like recoup, because when you get back, it's going to be crazy busy. So this week I've pretty much really just tried to like relax and mentally kind of escape, just like kind of let my mind wander, and like not in a bad way, but just like kind of do my own thing. And yesterday Ashley was home, or I guess not
Thursday.
No.
Thursday is when I spent like 6 hours in here.
Yeah. I was like, God dang, she's still in there plugging away on the freaking.
It's, you always hear people say like, it's not work if it doesn't feel like work or whatever. I was having the best time of my life on Thursday when I was in here for, I don't remember even how long it was because
No, it was a long time. I went and got groceries.
No, so that was Friday. Friday you went and got groceries. But Thursday morning, I cleaned, like power cleaned the kitchen, deep cleaned the kitchen for like, I don't know, like an hour and a half or so. And then I came in here and I worked for about 6 hours.
What the heck was I doing Thursday? I don't even remember.
You've been playing game pretty much all week. I don't even know.
No, I was doing something. I don't even remember what I was doing Thursday. See, that's what the crazy thing with being off. It's like every day's merged together. And I'm like, what the hell have I been doing?
I don't really remember what you did on Thursday because I was in here the whole time.
I did come in here for some computer work stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But that was about it that I can remember.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this week, I was worried today. I was like, shit, I can't believe tomorrow is Monday. And Mom and Jess were like, no, it's not, idiot. Tomorrow is Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank goodness.
Anyway, that was really long-winded. But, yeah. That's like one of the most exciting things for me for 2023. Really want to dedicate the time and the energy because I think that will manifest into like being successful with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I am obsessed with the product. Not everyone will be. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that get it. And I love that. I love getting to see like any show that we do a lot of craft shows, not a lot, but we do some craft shows, especially during Christmas season. And it's disappointing to see people like come through and just kind of pass on by. But then you get that one person that sees it and they spend 40 minutes at your booth, like picking out 2 sets of coasters and just talking to you about like all of the different heroes or like the different characters or, oh, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? Or like, this is so cool. These are like, how do you make these? And it's just like, yes, I love when we find our people.
Yeah. Sometimes it's crazy too, because like obviously we're taking these out of comic books to make these coasters.
Yeah.
And you'll see someone with a Star Wars shirt walk up.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, all right, here we go. Here's a Star Wars fan.
And
then
yeah,
they'll be like, oh, those are kind of cool. And then they kind of just walk off.
They kind of meander. Yeah. And anytime someone like has like a graphic tee on or whatever, and I mention it, I'm like, oh, we've got our Star Wars stuff right over here. Cause we always try to put Star Wars together cause it's a big seller. Mm-hmm. Be like, oh, I've got a whole Star Wars section over here. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And then they just leave. Yeah. And it's like, are you a Star Wars fan or not?
No, I think a lot of it's just
I think not.
Oh, yay. I watched the new Star Wars movie. I watched that Obi-Wan show on Disney Plus. It was kind of good.
Yeah.
That's literally, I think, oh, my sister got me this shirt. I'm not even a huge Star Wars fan. It's good and a cool shirt.
It's really interesting because the show we did at the OC in Ozark, there was a girl who had like I think it was a Baby Yoda backpack on. And I was like, okay, a t-shirt's one thing. a backpack is a whole other level of commitment. So she's got to love this character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just passes on by, like briefly looks, passes on by. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is we need to work on our presentation, which we are working on, but I'm obsessed with them
Not
so
presentation. The presentation's fine. It's just the layout of the booth.
much. Right. Anyway, I'm just obsessed with the coasters, and I think they're like one of the coolest things ever.
I agree.
And I'm also excited that we're expanding to like custom
Yeah. We've made some really cool
pictures, like family pictures, baby pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. The ones you cut out earlier look great, so.
I know they are going to turn out so good.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I figured you'd probably be working on those tomorrow.
We'll see what happens. with your whole big idea with the podcast thing. I was like, okay, well, we're going to lose about half our day to film or like recording podcasts to get us ready for the week. But anyway, I don't have much else to say about that.
Okay.
My big goals this year, structured fitness, something. Got to get into it. Got to get it. It'll make me feel better.
Yeah.
Mentally
no,
and physically, because I've been like not feeling well. The podcast, big focus, and then our little small business. Those are the things that I'm going to manifest this year. Like health, podcast, coasters. We're manifesting all of those good things.
Will my job exiting into existence for Ashley?
Well, I'm like, we also, can I say, I guess I'm going to say, so like we are trying for a second baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would love to be able to stay home with the second one, especially until they're like 2, when it's more important that they be like in school and get kind of more of like a structured curriculum going.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We'll see. None of these things it's not going to happen, but
we'll see.
It'll be
Or the podcast could take off because we do a podcast a day for 365 days. And it's like, holy crap, we got like offers for ads and everything.
Wow. Okay. Well, I feel like we have been just rambling now.
Yeah.
But that's okay. If you guys are still with us, thank you. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you all soon. If you enjoy our show, let us know. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Beyond the Ears Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever platform you are listening, and we will talk to you in the next one, which will be very soon.
Happy New Year, everyone.